Hello there everybody, Jordan back again with another review, and this is going to be for Army of Darkness from 1992, and it's directed by Sam Raimi and stars Bruce Campbell. Taking place after the climax of Evil Dead 2, Ash is transported back to the Dark Ages of England, where he must take on an army of darkness in order to get back home. Well guys, I've always liked this film. My uncle had it as one of his favourite films and still is to this day. He loves this movie. And he had it on VHS and he used to lend me it all the time back in the day when I was a kid. And I gotta say, this has always been my least favourite Evil Dead film. But if you got the Army of Darkness as your least favourite Evil Dead movie, that franchise is doing a hell of a job. But I must admit, guys, on this rewatch, I really enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than I've ever enjoyed it. This was my favourite time ever watching Army of Darkness, so let's get into it.
I'll swallow your soul!
Come get some.
I gotta say, Sam Raimi is very brave for going in this bold, new and exciting direction. It kind of feels like the movie Willow, which came out around the same time, and Lord of the Rings, which wasn't out yet, but of course the book was. And it kind of has that familiar story of a person or a character having to save this land from evil. So nothing too original there when it comes to the story, but when you put it in the Evil Dead franchise, which has had two movies just being a cabin in the woods story, it just takes a totally new path to them two movies. And he was taking a little bit of a risk because people may not have liked that, but what the hell, he's done two very familiar films. Why not do something brand new here? And I really like when sequels do that and say, yeah, we're going that way now, because that is totally different to this. I mean, it just goes pure fantasy. It's got the romantic angle and everything. Like I said, very familiar to movies like Willow, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, you got it. But Ash, this is the best he's ever been. I really liked Ash in Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 1, he's not really there. They don't really realize what he had with that character. But here, he is unbelievable. Like, this is one of my favorite protagonists in any horror movie ever, because he is just kicking ass here. He has got so many great one-liners. He makes you laugh so much. He's charismatic. The personality of the guy, I mean, he's got a fucking chainsaw in one hand and a shotgun in the other. The guy just oozes pure class. But the one-liners, the dialogue and everything here, I was just laughing my ass off constantly throughout this movie, and it is mainly down to this guy. But my favorite quote in any of these Evil Dead films is actually in this film, and it's near the start of the movie where he's been captured and he speaks to that guy and he says, "What's your name?" And the guy gives like 5 different names, and he just turns around and says, "Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants."
Duke of Shale, Lord of the Northlands and leader of its peoples.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Absolutely love that. But I love how he gets out the pit and everything, and he just points his shotgun to all these people and says, "This is my boomstick," and they all jump out their skin. There's a whole army of guys there, and they won't do anything because they are terrified of him and what's in his hand.
This is my boomstick.
It's just incredible. But it's not just Ash that comes out with some great liners here and comedic dialogue. There's even a moment where he's fighting this skeleton, and this skeleton just says to him, "I got a bone to pick with you." It's great writing all around. What a script. One thing I really noticed this time is how well made the movie is. Like all these Evil Dead films are from Sam Raimi, but this one especially is unbelievable to watch. I mean, I just appreciate so much about this film with the practical effects, the set design. I mean, can you imagine this movie being made today? Even the set would look CGI. There is a moment where we are fighting the Army of Darkness and all these skeletons are walking towards Ash and these guys who are about to fight them, and they are done with either stop motion or sort of practical effects or kind of models of skeletons there. Can you imagine that now? It would be a CGI skeleton army, and that would be terrible. Why can't we just go back to this? Why? There is so much heart and personality in these movies when they are done this way. It just feels like the filmmakers are really trying. I get CGI cuts corners and has maybe even a cheaper cost, I don't know, but I believe CGI is quite expensive for special effects team and everything. But if we'd done it this way, I genuinely believe that people would appreciate film so much. There are so many movies today where people are like, oh yeah, movies aren't the same no more. I honestly believe that some of it is down to special effects in movies. It's kind of like if an action movie had an explosion, it would just be a CGI explosion now probably, but things like Die Hard back in the day, they were real explosions, man. And this is no different. I mean, the costume design, everything about it, there's no CGI here. And if it was made today by a random filmmaker, it would be CGI fest hell. So I just love the heart and soul put into Army of Darkness. And there's some great action set pieces in this film as well to go along with how good it looks. I mean, I love the opening of this film. It really reminds me of Return of the Jedi, where we have that pit and that guy's thrown down and all the blood comes spurting out. Typical Sam Raimi postage stamp there. But then Ash goes down, has to fight these demonites as this wall of spikes closes in. That just feels so 80s and 90s now, doesn't it? I mean, it's just a really cool opening, but we've also got a moment in the movie where Ash has to fight so many little miniature versions of himself, and it really feels like they're doing the same scene as the Hand in Evil Dead 2, but with these little miniature characters of Ash instead. You know, the voice feels the same and everything. They're sort of mocking him and teasing him as they're fighting with him, and he's got to take them on. I really like how he throws the fork and sticks that guy to the wall. Yeah, so many great moments in this film. It's kind of like the Gulliver's Travels tale there, where they've got them all tied up and everything. Really like how they threw that in. Yeah, like I said, it's a fantasy movie, but it's got a little touch of other fantasy stories in there. But just going back to the battle I was talking about before, the whole third act is one big giant battle, and honestly, people might laugh when I say this, but it reminded me of Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings. That's what it reminded me of, maybe a more miniature version of it. But when this army are kind of walking towards Bruce Campbell, or Ash should I say, and these guys are going to take them on, we see them explosive arrows hit, and you know, all explosions are going on and everything. It's just wonderful to watch. The whole battle is so well done. There's so many great things happening here. Like with that skeleton character, kind of gets crushed by the boulder as Ash sort of flies up the chain and everything like that. So many, you know, great little sword fights and everything. The Army of the Darkness look great with all these different types of characters. Not just a skeleton army. There's all these little sort of demon-looking characters that come along. It's wonderful to watch. It really is so much damn fun. And what I like about it is Ash has actually got some futuristic weaponry to take on this Army of Darkness. And I think that's why a lot of people in this movie are scared of him, because he's got the shotgun, but he's also got the car that came through the time portal with him. And he mod the car up with these spinning sort of scissors, or this big spinning fan on the front. And he's just mowing down the Army of the Dead. Man, this movie is so damn entertaining. And it's just really cool to see good versus evil come together here, because we do have two armies kind of battling with each other in this dark England age. And the Army of the Darkness come and they join forces to take on this damn thing. So it's kind of like Ash, he wants to get home, but he's also brought this time period and all the people who live there together and brought peace to it. He is the prodigal son that they all have heard of. Yeah, man, it's a wonderful little story, really is. Now, I gotta say, there are a couple of negatives with this film, guys. I don't really buy the whole romance angle with Embeth Davids, is it? She played Miss Honey in Matilda, believe it or not. I was watching this film going, is that Miss Honey? My God. But it just doesn't feel like there's enough time for these two characters to breed, and I don't really buy the whole romantic angle towards the end, especially when the scene afterwards has Ash sort of going after some other woman who he works with. But yeah, that is kind of a weak point in the movie, and I feel like it tries to focus heavily on it because of the short runtime. It's only like 19 minutes. It doesn't have a chance to sort of delve into that. So, unfortunately, the romance side, yeah, doesn't really get it right for me. And speaking of that ending, we really could have carried this on. I wish we got a fourth movie with Bruce Campbell as Ash in there. It wasn't to be. And we did get Ash vs. Evil Dead, which I haven't actually watched, but going through these three movies again, it really is pushing me to want to watch them. But yeah, man, I wish we would have got that next segment there where the Demonites come into the present day. And my other negative with it, guys, is as much as I love the comedy in this movie and how funny it is and how much of a good time I'm having, I really wish they would have got the horror right. It kind of feels like they got the perfect blend of horror comedy in Evil Dead 2, but here the horror is a little bit forgotten. Don't get me wrong, the Demonites look good and everything. There's a cool sort of makeup design with them and everything. They do look a little bit creepy here and there, but never in this movie does it feel scary. Never does it feel like characters are in huge peril or you're kind of on the edge of your seat with the Demonites or anything, what they're doing. So I kind of wish they would have just made it a little bit darker when it came to the horror side of things. But that is a very hard line to balance when a movie is this damn funny. I gotta say, guys, I don't think when I do my ranking that this will be bottom anymore because I really enjoyed it. This is such a good movie. It's kick-ass. So many things to like about it. Just pure entertainment factor. And I gotta say, what a great trilogy. What a great trilogy, the way it all just comes together. Wow, Sam Raimi is a hell of a director. I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now, guys. I'm going to give Army of Darkness an 8 out of 10. Very familiar score that I've given with these films. They are all of great quality, and it is very hard to separate which ones are better than the others, but that's going to be the fun of the ranking there. Okay, guys, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Army of Darkness is that Sam Raimi actually comes up with improvised lines for his cast members to say on the spot. And he actually came up with "Give me some sugar, baby," that Bruce Campbell would say to Sheila in this film. And Bruce Campbell said, "That's the shittest, most dumbest line I've ever had to read." But he said that anyway. And a lot of people actually really do like that quote. Okay, guys, what did you think of Army of Darkness? Please do let me know in the comments down below. If you want to check out my Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2 reviews, they'll be in the playlist down below, along with my upcoming Evil Dead Remake review and Evil Dead Burn review. I've already reviewed Evil Dead Rise on this channel, so that'll be in the playlist as well. Don't forget to go and check all them out. Let me know what you thought of the movie. Please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel if horror is your sort of thing. Thanks so much, guys. You all take care. I'll see you all in the next video.